Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. My name is Jeff, and it's a little bit different today, but alongside me is the Tyson Tomko to Christian Cage. It's Craig, everyone. What's up, Craig?
When I was prepping for this show, I knew I was going to end up being called Tomko. I knew it would be Tomko. But I'm good.
Got to.
Very tired. Ready for New Japan, but I'm
Got to
good.
stay relevant. Yes, New Japan tonight, Resurgence. Really good job, and we'll talk about that as far as Impact cross-promoting, and obviously we alluded to, the Christian Cage title win. That will be included in this as well. We got a lot to talk about. Max wasn't able to make it today. I think his Aunt Flo was in town. I'm pretty sure is the thing. But hey, what's going on, buddy? We're going to start right away and get right into it because we have a lot of little things to get to before we get to the main mumbo-jumbo there. And at the very end, we have a fun look, as we did before, but a little twist on that. We're going to look into the future. We're going to look into the future later at the end of the show. All right. So, Craig, let's start a little different. We'll get to the numbers don't lie. What's going on, guys? Appearing here. We'll get to the numbers in just a moment. But first, there's something we have to do. And it's pretty ironic that we're going to be talking about a lot of people from this country. But here it is. We want to thank Australia for making it to... We are almost filling up. All right, that's good. That's good. There's some love for Australia. Thank you for the love, Australia. Thank you for almost completing it. Look, we're getting there. We're getting there. We're getting there. If you don't see your country and you're watching this on YouTube, please write us at TNAIW channel. Tell us where you're watching from. We'll include you on there. We'd like to make, as we say in here, one friend at a time, one fan at a time, right? All right, Craig, why don't you hit us with the numbers, and I'll chime in with a little bit of why one of those things happened.
So, I guess, yes, it's me. It's the MIC, Craig, aka Mr. Impact, for the TNAIW channel. And as if you didn't know already, you can find us here, there, and everywhere. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Sounder, Spotify, and wherever else you podcast. As Jeff alluded to, you can see the numbers now down below me. Yes, we're up on Twitter, up in audio, up in YouTube, slightly down on Twitch, and still the same on Facebook.
Yeah,
So if you're on Facebook, drop us a like if you want to.
Yeah, that's definitely a market we need to attack a little bit more. Once we get some more help here, we'll definitely do that. Yeah, so Twitch, we know why you dropped one there, and we had to rant last week. I had to say what I had to say, but and it was about Twitch directly, so I'm sure someone was not happy. But I apologize to that person in the sense that if it actually hurt their feelings, we're sorry. If you're just being a baby, then move on. But YouTube always up 187. Homicide. So let's get those up. If you're watching on YouTube right now, the day after, which we always post these on Sundays. Subscribe, hit the bell, all that jazz. Up 16 on YouTube, which is awesome because now the podcasts are up to 86 as well. So we're getting where it's half and half, which I really dig. So thank you to our audio listeners. We try to make it as fun for you guys as it is on us on YouTube as we play games and stuff. And today this one is non-interactive, so you just get to sit back and make fun of Craig and I as we make asses of ourselves. The one thing I do want to hit about numbers, before we get into the power ranking numbers, is the big jump on Twitter. It's almost nearly 100 since last week. I won't go into, for those who know of the situation, I'm not going to get too much into that. It's nothing that we did that was overly successful. We were just trying to help anyone out, and we deleted as well, to those of you who know, but, mental health is a big thing. I talk about it on the show all the time. Now turning 35, and I'm just now getting my wits about me a little bit when it comes to that kind of stuff. So if anyone does need to reach out or needs help, of course, reach out to professionals. But if you're not comfortable with doing that, shoot us a DM. It's not going to be great advice, but it'll be what I know, and try to help as much as we can. And that goes for people who have flaws, people who make mistakes, or don't. So that's all I'll say on that subject. Craig, why don't you brighten up the mood with your English charm and get us into power rankings?
Yeah, of course. If you agree or if you disagree, let us know, and I'm sure we can add you to our rankings committee. But without further ado, with our new host of Power Rankings.
She's in the chat.
It's the Power Rankings.
Here we go, guys.
Hi everyone, this is Dr. with Rangers of Wrestling. Here's your TNAIW Top 10 for this week. Number 10, Impact Tag Team Champions, the Good Brothers. Number 9, Eddie Edwards. Number 8, the Boricua Badass Tasha Steelz. Number 7, Kimberly and Sue Young. Number 6, Knockouts Champion Diana Purrazzo. Number 5, Kenny Omega. Number 4, The Bullet Club. Number 3, number 1 contender Brian. Number 2, X Division Champion Josh Alexander. And number 1, New World Champion Christian Cage. That was your top 10 Impact Wrestlers of the week. Do you agree? Let us know at TNAIW channel. Back to you guys.
All right.
Oh, it feels so sweet to see Kenny no longer with that title.
Oh no, man, that's something we'll debate. We have a lot of that going, a lot of that talk today, and I don't want to waste any time because I feel like although we are Tiana at 6, yeah. The hell, the good stuff, Lucha, the good stuff. We have a lot to talk about, and although there is, we're obviously missing Max, and we miss his company, of course. The two of us, I think, have a lot to banter about. So even with 3, it would have been maybe a 3-hour show or something. So hopefully we could keep it down to this 1 hour and a half. But start it off, my friend. Let's go.
Yep, so it's time for those hot topics, kicking off with Impact on Access TV / YouTube Insiders. We started off with Tenille defeating Taylor Wilde with the help of the returning Madison Rayne. Josh Alexander defeated Daivari with some, well, not interference, but with some, the presence of Jake Something at ringside. Right. We had Sue Young and Kimberly, I guess, removing or kidnapping Kira Hogan. Finjuice defeated the Bullet Club. John Skyler defeated Matt Cardona with the help of or distraction of Rohit Raju. And in the main event with the number one contenders battle royal, Brian Myers picked up the win and is the number one contender to the Impact Wrestling World Championship. Ratings were also up this week, but that's just a quick little thing on that. Thoughts and feelings, and how do you think this episode went? Of course, you can see the result of our poll, what people were most looking forward to, and that was the number one contenders battle royal in the main event of the show. I can't quite see the number, but I guess you can.
Yeah, it's 38%, slightly behind or above, in front of Finjuice and Bullet Club with 34%. Daivari and Alexander getting 11 and 16 for Dashwood Wild, but I think all delivered in their own ways. And anytime there's a battle royal, it's generally, and obviously this was a hot topic that we'll get to, it seems, on number 2. But battle royals are well looked upon as far as entertainment value. If I had, obviously being there in person, kind of changes my perspective on that battle royal, but I guess I got to save. I just want to jump to that because I have so much, obviously, that we need to talk about when it comes to that and how that all played out, and that's kind of the theme of the show, is kind of all the cluster that happened. But I will say this: I have a few things written down that I do want to talk about before I get carried away on stuff. The Kiera thing was bittersweet, and it was really. I'm glad it came off well on television. In person, it was just kind of, for us, they had already broken up. It wasn't that we saw that out of order per se, but no one knew Su Yung was coming. If you're watching Impact on Access TV or any other way, including Impact Insider, which we'll get to in just a moment, we didn't see though. You see those vignettes of Kimberly turning and Su Yung controlling her, and you get to see those little backstage ads. We didn't see those. So when the music played, it was the first time anyone knew Su Yung was coming back or she was returning. And then Kimberly on top of it. I think a lot of people didn't know what to make of it, but really thought it was really cool. And I'm glad that it showed that way on television. And I thought it was really nicely done. I think they found another tag team in them two for now. They found another feud for when they inevitably break up. I really like what they're doing with that. And you had to get rid of Kiera in one way or another because of, obviously her leaving. And I thought this was nice. It's a nice way to keep her still alive if you need her to be alive and then to kill her off because no one dies in the Impact universe.
That we know of.
I really like that. I really like the pairing of Savannah Evans and Tasha Steelz. I said that they should be the next APA. Like, they just have that vibe of like Tasha could be the talker and is like, pay this, pay that, whatever it may be. And then, Savannah's the muscle. So I really like that combo. It's a nice refresh of something that we already had as far as, the flavor that Tasha brought. But it, puts her now in the lead role, so to speak. So I'm really excited about that. I really liked the video package. I feel like there's more synergy throughout the episodes lately, and I don't want to say since Don left, but that's around the time that I remember us talking about how good the episodes were going. He might have left way before, but it has nothing to do with him. But yeah, it just, they had very consistent transitions for the most part that I saw. Nothing really stuck out to me. I was like, or it broke up the flow of everything like I felt Tennille's did last week a little bit. And that was mostly the writing or execution of it, to be honest. With that being said, though, I really, really, really liked the video package for that Battle Royal. Because with knowing the result prior, with watching this for the first time through Impact Insider, so I'm 30 minutes ahead, doesn't matter, but I just want to make that point. Which is my complaint about that still. I have no problem finding it. I know a lot of people have, but make sure you're checking your email as well as your bells, because they send the link there every morning or afternoon, depending on where you live, for that night's episode. But I really liked the fact that they made the Battle Royal feel somewhat important. Obviously, it's important. It's for a number one contendership. But you could easily, especially me, coming from the opposite spectrum of already knowing who's going to win, I was just like, what the fuck? Like, you know what I mean? Like, we were thrown off. I wasn't mad at it per se, and I'll get to that on number 2. But what you see in person isn't really what you see on TV. And they presented the Battle Royal as if this was a solid win, and anybody can win in a Battle Royal, and I really dug that, man. I really did. And it didn't need it. We know it's not the Royal Rumble. No, it's not, the most important thing. It's for the headline match at Emergence. But at the same time, it made everything, they're starting to make those little things feel important, which I really dig. And that gives me some hope, more hope going towards the future, that this is something that will stay. There was something I wrote down that I wanted to make sure. comment. Oh yeah, shout out. Obviously, they probably don't watch, but Striker and D'Lo. Every match that they call, that I pay extreme attention to, they make sure that everyone is over. It feels like every move is over. Every person is over. Josiah and Sam Adonis, which in person, once again, and I'm glad that played off a little better. We didn't know who the heel was. They just, hey, BTI's on, change the thing, boom, boom, boom. And then they throw out them, and we're just like, oh, yay, match. Okay. And then obviously he was playing the heel in the ring, and then he was giving fist bumps out of the ring. So, that threw us for a little bit of a loop. But I just feel like, and I don't want to go ahead of myself and say that they should be permanent. I think there should be no dogma in wrestling. Like if someone, they think something can better the situation of the commentating team, then so be it. If it's adding a third person, maybe a Mike Tenay or something, who knows? But I really like these two together. D'Lo, yes, you could say what you say, and he needs a little bit of work here and there, whatever. And Striker, yes, gets into the mat. But when you listen to it, it's not a nuisance. And John Skyler's win felt important. All of these things that they put the soundtrack onto, they elevate it. And I could ramble on and on about it, but I'm going to let you go and kind of collect my other thoughts. But, I love the episode. We'll obviously get to the poll results and what other people thought about it, but what did you think?
What an episode. I mean, for me, it was kind of a slow starter with the Tenille Taylor match. I'm a big fan of Taylor Wilde, and for me, Taylor Wilde is some of the best arm drags in wrestling right now. I'm not saying. Tenille, she seems it's a bit slow for me. Maybe I'm missing something, but for me, it felt a bit slow. And again, with Madison Rain's return, it didn't feel like the crowd was that interested. It didn't come across that way anyway. Like there wasn't a loud reaction like there should have been for her.
Whose was it?
Madison.
I'll remark on that app. You could.
Yeah, but like what you said on Striker and D'Lo, especially Striker. I mean, if there's the slightest mistake in the ring, he's great at covering up and making it seem like it's part of the show. Like sticking to the Taylor Wilde match for a second, I believe Taylor's shoulders were still down when the referee lifted the shoulder up. I think I can't be sure. I didn't see it clearly, but I think Taylor's shoulders were down. But as for the rest of the show, I mean, Kimberly, I never saw this coming, and I like it. Mm-hmm. It's insane. And John Skyler, I knew he seemed familiar when I saw him on the show, but I couldn't quite place him. But obviously now I'm more aware. And yeah, as for the number contenders match in the Battle Royal, I am a huge fan of Battle Royals, and when they're done like this, where it's anyone can win, and you just need to think about how you're going to win. I thought it was great storytelling, even though it was a Tommy Dreamer production. It was
very much so.
It was a very, very solid Battle Royal. I thought it was. If you're expecting a high-class main event, then suddenly going to be a bit disappointed.
Yeah.
For Battle Royal contenders match.
Yeah, it was great. Sorry, I was trying to say delete to the bot that's in there. We don't have Max to clean up the bot today. Yeah, no. So one, I'll address the Madison Rain thing. John Skyler. I'm not going to pretend to act as if I know his work. I know the name. He looked familiar when we were in person. We didn't know what to expect. Once again, you don't know what you're going to see when you actually sit down and watch it on TV. It played off just like on camera, but he's in the ring already. We don't know that he's signed or may not be signed. We don't know the answer to that now, let alone then. So it was just a really weird thing. And the same kind of goes for, I think, Madison. And what I was mentioning about Sue earlier, it's like you're so like, wait, what? Madison's here? Isn't she retired? So I think a lot of people just, and it wasn't a not excited to see her. I've come to love Madison, respect her very much so, as one of my favorites now. But the retire, not retire, 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 not retire. And for it to come out, it felt left field. I understand that she's been using her locker room talk segment and stuff of that, and her set and all that. But what it really felt like, especially with Madison in what I would say are street clothes, she looked lovely. We'll say that first of all. She looked amazing.
Yes.
Amazing. Like she could go win the championship tomorrow. But she looked like she maybe was a last minute adjustment. And I would never talk about that with as Madison Rain in who she is, with all due respect. But with all the rumors out there, and then the people we'll get to at number 5 that are in Nashville, you could see that maybe this is just a transition to a rewrite to figure out how to get to that next, through the taping and onto the next one. So maybe Madison isn't even unretired. We have to take that into consideration. Because even their website, ImpactWrestling.com, is always really good about getting people up there like that. I mean, No Way Jose was up there. No Way was up there like a day later. I was like, no way, shit, okay. So that must mean he's sticking around. Madison's not. So maybe this is just something where she's doing locker room talk, as you can see our ad there. This Thursday she'll be doing a segment of locker room talk, so maybe that's just it, and maybe that's how we introduce the next tapings and Tenille finally gets her friends, right? But yeah, no, I like the whole show. I thought, once again, there's nothing that was a turnaway moment. I know some people had a reason for that at the end, but we'll get to that in a second. But I do want to say that it looks like 40, and we had, I think, over 100 votes on this. I think it was 100, almost 200. How fucking good was that episode? 45% said excellent. Great at 32%. Good at 21%. And liar was was 1%. If you click that, and there was only one person that had balls that seems to do that, it was an excellent show. Great's fine too. Once again, art is subjective, and that's kind of what we're gonna transition to here. Craig, if you want to take that and get us on to number 2.
Yeah. So of course, the main event of this week's Impact was the number contenders Gaunt Battle Royal, with Brian Myers doing everything he can to get the win, and is now the number one contender for the Impact Wrestling World Championship, and will be facing Christian Cage at Resurgence at the end of this month, I believe. Yes. Brian Myers number 10.
I accidentally clicked it. There we go. Okay, now you can see there's Emergence also playing down there for our YouTube watchers. So Brian Myers. This was a big debate, obviously in the chat group, and outside of it, and kind of a what the hell. So let me. I think there's 3 ways to look at this as a fan, and I've been thinking about this, obviously, for a while, because when we were there, I had said at the beginning of the tapings, oh man, Brian Myers really kind of found his thing, especially with Sam Beal. Like, that just makes sense. He's finally finding it, kind of, he should be the vet, right? He should be the guy who's taking kids under their wing, even though he hasn't hit the level that we see as success. Do you know what I mean? Like, the fans, oh, it's just Brian Myers. Well, yeah, but that's kind of the get, man. I want to say, let me start so I'm not all over the place. Let me start with being in person. Okay, so when we were in person and he won. When it was down to 3, I said, watch this motherfucker win. And when he won, I was still in shock, even though I embraced myself for the possibility. And I was like, okay, that's just really weird that they're going to throw away. And I even said in the chat group, no spoilers, but I really feel like this is a throwaway pay-per-view match. Nothing against Brian Myers per se. He's actually grown by the end of the tapings very much on me. And a funny story was this Battle Royal was the last thing they taped at the tapings in Nashville in July. So we walk out with Brian Myers. Well, he wins. Sammy goes to the back. I guess the camera's cut there. Brian Myers does his pose, and he celebrates, and then Sammy comes back out and pile drives him. Goodbye. Okay, so he's out in the ring, and he stays in the ring. Brian Myers took a pile driver and was there until the fans cleared out. This motherfucker is dedicated. And he got me.
Doing CM Punk stuff.
Right. And I was like, man, this guy's what I think he, and maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he's an asshole. But what I think he is in a personality just hasn't really, is starting to show now, but he's better playing off of someone. Doesn't mean he needs to be a tag team wrestler. But I think he's better playing off someone, and we're seeing that now with Beal, and we're seeing it when he talks to Gia, or he talks to, who was it that came surprised during the Missy Hyatt. So it's working. Tennille as well. So it's working. I like where they're going. So I'll say that. So as a fan, originally I was upset. Not upset, but just like, what the hell? They're just throwing away this emergence. Whatever. Okay, I'll still watch it. And then I watched the show. Okay, this is before. Well, I mean, I guess we knew that Christian could win the championship on Friday. But I'm watching it Thursday, and they put that video package, and they make it seem important. They make it seem like anyone could win, and guess what? Someone who we wouldn't expect to win wins. Okay? Could we have seen him get his title shot as a thank you? Maybe for, I mean, this dude has been, not only promotes Impact, is now in a PBR commercial. I'm pretty sure got him the deal with the wrestling pins. So this is a guy who's invested in the company, and I'm hoping the company invests in it well. It does not mean he needs to be world champion. But I could see them giving him that as spotlight just as a thank you, or a, hey, this is our guy. Not the guy, but a guy. Okay. Just like the Good Brothers, I feel like. Everyone says, oh, they're going to leave. Why? Maybe they will. But why would they leave when they could go wrestle everywhere else and still promote their stuff, have TV shows on Access TV, which I think is part of the, well, we'll wait till number 5 on that. But let me backtrack here. So I think there's different ways to look at it. And then you can also look at it from the angry way, which I understand as well, because that's how I felt in person. I was like, why are they going to throw away a match? You can say, Brian Myers, there's no build up to this. It should be Moose. Yeah, well, no shit. Moose should be the one that beats, or what we perceive beats Kenny Omega. But he sure as hell shouldn't be doing it at Emergence. Okay? And if this is, and this is not making excuse, if this is the exit route, we need to see what Kenny Omega does this weekend and on, because the dude was injured. And we'll get to that on number 4, but I think this was maybe in the plans all along in some way, fashion, or form, and I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But Brian Myers was a month, when was that taping? A month ago now?
Yeah, well,
okay.
Yeah.
So Dynamite was Friday. They knew either it was going to be Kenny Omega versus Brian Myers, or they would have to make him lose the number 1 contendership, which would be such a silly thing. Especially, I really feel like Brian Myers is a Canyon. Is that a reference ever? Like a Chris Canyon, who's like, okay, yeah. Middle, an incredible worker, comes out the entrance. You might not buy their merch. I would with Canyon and Brian Myers too. But maybe it's not your favorite wrestler, but when he comes through that rope, he's going to have a good match. It's going to be entertaining, and he's going to fill his spot there. And he can play around with that fake mystical middleweight or mid-card title we have. And then he could play around with a challenger of a heavyweight championship sometimes, and sometimes we could take him, and believe him. So I don't think we should write him off in that way, because I feel like he's that middle ground there that could definitely be a great hand on any position like Eric Young used to be. Any ground, play any level, any character you need him to do and succeed. So I want to give him his due there. But here's the thing I want people to also think about. Okay. Brian Myers is now playing the role of something he originally played when we kind of saw him on a national level. What was his first gimmick that you remember in WWE?
Edgehead.
Okay. So now he's taking people under his wing. And the first person he faces for the title is Christian, right? Edge's
best friend.
Okay, so not only does this say to me that this was not, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I have no knowledge. But if Christian's first defense, they know they need to get that belt off Omega, or they want to, or that's the plan. You book Myers, who's a perceived easy victory for the new Christian Cage champion, right?
Yes.
And then you have a storyline that you have to write quickly, because now we're doing 3 tapings to make up for that next month, and we have to get Christian with somebody that makes sense, and he doesn't really have any history too much with anyone there that you want to just spoil on his first title defense. So what do? You have a built-in storyline of a former Edgehead that Christian can make references to joke, to do whatever, to pick him at him, and Myers could play off that as well. I am very excited to see where this program goes now, because the promos alone between Myers and Batman Christian, now that, that he is, are going to be fun. So, Craig, your thoughts?
I'm going to give my thoughts by starting off with the first thought of what my first reaction of what I said when Myers eliminated Moose and Sabin. There has to be someone else. They missed someone.
Okay.
This Battle Royale isn't over, surely. They missed someone. But now I've had to think about it. I like how they've done it.
Yeah.
It was, Brian. You don't. If you think of normal contenders, you don't think Brian Myers, which is fair enough.
Fair.
But Brian Myers is I'd say more than a decent wrestler.
Yes.
He's got a great character at the minute. He knows he's finding his groove, and honestly, Brian Myers' debut was for the Impact World Championship.
Yeah.
He faced Eddie Edwards for the Impact World Championship on his his return, I guess you could call it. But even so, I mean, like you said, they can make reference to the Edgehead thing. I don't know if they can get away with it, but I think it was a few years ago at a Raw reunion, Cardona and Myers spotted Edge, and went, "On this day, I see clearly."
Ah, nice.
It could do something like that, I guess.
Well,
but
you're right. It just, I think, just to make it clear, and what you're trying to say as well, is that had you asked us, well, prior to, had I not seen it in person as well, and I don't read spoilers, so we're just here, we're reacting, to say, had you asked us last week if we thought it would be Brian Myers, and that we would be excited about it, we said, fuck no. No, we're not biased. We'll tell you the truth. It wasn't something that we predicted, thought, or liked. But then you start peeling back the layers and you say, you know what? Let me be patient, because Impact is finally, it feels like, consistently doing the right thing under the circumstances. Granted, of course, Moose would be the best person to beat Kenny Omega at Bound for Glory in Las Vegas. That would be great. And who's to say it doesn't happen? But to get a guy like Christian, which we'll get onto now, I'll actually kick it to you and let you start with that too, unless you wanted to go back to Myers. But I just wanted to wrap that up for time. But I don't know. Why don't you go into Christian? And I think that Brian Myers is a great hand. And it's not someone we expected, but hindsight's 20/20. Now you're looking back and you say, okay, now where we're at, of course we're okay with it. But at the time,
yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. I did think it would be Ace Austin, but I thought it'd be a nice championship match. And speaking of championship matches, last night on the debut of AEW Rampage, Christian Cage defeated Kenny Omega to become the Impact Wrestling World Champion in 2021. Christian Cage is the Impact Wrestling World Champion. Wow.
Why don't you go first? You got some stuff on the tip of your tongue, it seems.
Yeah, so obviously people who know me know that I don't watch AEW, but the promos from Impact nearly made me watch it. Because I like how they've done it for a start, because it's in the middle of two different sets of tapings, and there's when I first saw it, I thought, oh, it's probably happened at the last tapings. Nope, didn't. So yeah, Christian Cage. I mean, wow, it finally feels like it's come home.
Yeah,
and that's the big thing for me.
Is that now you feel? Well, see, it's funny you say that, because that's going to be my first question to you, or rebuttal to you. In question was, do you feel, now this is the argument online, that it is actually home, or do you feel that Christian is still an AEW guy?
Christian, to me, will never completely be an AEW guy.
Right. Okay.
When you think of Christian, obviously it's still early, I know that. When you think Christian, your mind either goes to his ECW title reign or his NWA TNA World Championship reign.
Okay.
Or maybe his 5-second reign as World Champion in WWE.
Yeah.
You know, it's home.
Yeah. Christian
Cage will be an Impact. Christian WWE, Christian Cage TNA.
Yeah. Here's now. Granted, I want to say this. I've obviously been predicting that Christian was actually signed with Impact since. Let me see how many months he's been with the AEW. 5 months. So for 5 months, all 5 months, I said, look, he's using his music. He's on those trading cards. They keep putting him on Twitch when God rest his soul. Oh, hi Twitch. He's on the pins. Could you make a merchandise deal? Yeah, sure. Mike Tenay's in the next one, so maybe that's the case. I'm not saying. Now, granted, at the same time, I must say that I also said this was some big thing, and that eventually Ethan Page and Cage and who else is over there? Sting would eventually be reveal that they're TNA guys. But I stuck with this one because the proof was in the pudding. There was stuff, as cliche as that is, there was things that just kept coming up that just said Christian. Sting's not using his TNA music, and that shit's a banger. Okay. That's very iconic. Pun intended there. I mean, so it just seemed all a little bit too much. Now, does that mean Christian wouldn't want to go to AEW first and get that rub? No, of course. He went there. It's the big thing. It's the new thing. They're definitely number 2. And who knows, with the projector, the trajectory they're on right now, they might be number 1 at some point. And I'm okay with that. I don't care. I recognize that. But with that being said, Christian has been with AEW for 5 months. There's no way in hell that he is an AEW guy, signed there or not. Okay? Even if he stays 3 years there, he's already spending more time at Impact as well. So he's still an Impact guy. And before that, Christian is a WWF WWE guy. So he's never going to be only TNA Impact guy. He's never going to be only an AEW guy, because there's always that huge career he had prior. It threw me for a loop when you mentioned the ECW championship. He actually held that longer than he's been in AEW, mind you. But yeah, I always felt like he was in there. I felt like the shirt, I mentioned that multiple times, that his shirt said outwork everyone. It just felt like work has different connotations, right? And working someone in wrestling means you're... I don't know, man. I think there's something there. Maybe it didn't go down exactly how I thought it would, but I'll stick to that craziness until it's proven right. But yeah, man, it's just the thing I can't understand when people say he's not an Impact guy. What is it, the contract? Wonder if tomorrow you read in the sheets that it said he was actually signed to Impact and they transferred over his contract. Or, you know what I mean? What I understand that he's not Moose and that he's not whatever, but I think there's other things that go into it, and we'll talk about that next. And even if there isn't, he's a great bridge between our past and our future. And bringing back, I mean, he's holding the TNA World Championship as well. How fucking cool of an image is that? How cool of an image. It just looks perfection. It looks right on him. The story's there. That promo he gave before Friday was ingenious and put over Impact. It was worth the 8 months of people complaining about, oh, Impact's not getting a rub. They did. And in one night, Christian made it worth it. He also got us our highest, highest tweet likes ever.
Yeah.
Okay. Our highest, most likes, excuse me, thank you, and most liked Instagram picture as well. So for the people saying he's not going to do anything for us, he's already done it. And if you want to look at it as just buzz, we were trending on Wednesday. Impact on Access TV was trending on Wednesday. Okay. Christian and all of that has been trending since Thursday. So the amount of coverage we're getting because of this is worth it alone. And now had an AJ Styles came back, went over there and signed with AEW, won the title, Impact title, and brought it and said, I'm going to be in Nashville, blah, 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 and defended the title there, would he be a AEW guy? No. Now, I granted, yes, the time span is different, but Christian was our first big signing in TNA. That moment is always in a top 10, you know, if maybe not 25, depending on how history goes. But I don't know, man. I'm just ready for the ride.
Yeah, Christian was the first one to cross the line.
He was the first one to cross the line. Very well. Very well said.
And if you'd have told me at the beginning of January that Christian would return in the Royal Rumble, sign with AEW, and then win the Impact World Championship on AEW, no one would ever believe that.
Crazy.
But it's happening, and
one thing, sorry. I saw him mentioning sitting at 19,000 likes on Twitter. Thank you, right now. We have to mention that Impact's Twitter, by the way, it did drop 1,000 for a period of time. I don't know what that was. Maybe it was on the brink, or just there was a lull where it got kind of weird at those tapings, everyone, a few back. But we went from, I think we're at 592,000 now, if I'm not mistaken. We went up 2,000 in the past 2 weeks, I believe.
Sounds about right.
I mean, guys, take your time. Some things are going to suck. Doesn't mean I don't like them, or I don't dislike them as well. It just means we have to be patient. Because now we're getting Christian Cage's world champion. All right, next up. From people complain that, or people want it to feel like we're going back to the territory days, right? The champions would go to different territories. They weren't signed anywhere. They would win the title and go wherever they were booked, like Kenny Omega's doing as a three-time world champion. Yeah.
Now 2 world champions.
We'll see.
Speaking of Kenny Omega and Don Callis, after last night, do we think that's it for them in Impact? Are they done? Is Kenny's favor to Don for Impact done, or how does this playing out?
Well, let me answer Lucha here. No, Jeff Hardy wasn't the first one to cross the line because he was fired. Christian was the first to leave his contract intentionally and go out, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I don't know. Anyways, yes, Omega and Callis. One, I want to say there was a time when we were wicked excited that They even mentioned it back on AEW that they were going to come here, and everyone's like, oh, it's just one day. It's one day, one day, one day. It's 1 month. It's 1 month. It's 2 months. We're 8 months later. 8 months later. And I know people are going to say, oh, well, the ratings, they fluctuate. I'm sorry. Once again, our ratings aren't enough. There is a meter as well elsewhere. There's a meter on Twitter. You could see the wave of popularity or negative feedback or positive feedback of Impact, and that's on the high right now, on the positive. YouTube numbers up. Okay, Twitter, like we said, up. There's other things that change it. There's amount of people that we're interacting with that we have never interacted with that weren't Impact fans, or at least out loud Impact fans until about a month ago. So Kenny Omega has done a lot. Okay, buy rates on pay-per-views up, and you could see the power of changing the title. Not to go back, but sold out on Sunday now, or tomorrow, and I'm sure Monday and Tuesday tapings will sell out now with Christian as well. And if you told me Kenny Omega's surprise was going to be there to answer your question, I'd believe you. Because at the end of the day, I don't think Kenny... First of all, thank you. Yep, that'll finish that up. I'm all over the place now. But I think this isn't the last that we'll see of them. I don't think Don is too just connected to Scott and to Impact. Doesn't mean he's going to be EVP, but I think he'd be there. He'll be there at some point. If it's with Kenny Omega, it's with Kenny Omega. I think Kenny Omega doesn't give a shit if he's wrestling in front of 5 people or 1 million. He loves professional wrestling. He's an artist. That's what he wants to do. So I think we could see him back. And we might see him back if he beats Christian at All Out, right? If that is the plan still. The thing I do want to say, and that's confusing me, is when we saw him in person, you could see the suction marks on his body. I don't know if anyone's familiar with that form of treatment, to get the muscles moving. He's banged up. Do I know him personally? No, I don't. But from looking, in the ring, you couldn't tell. But his body, you could see where he's been taking a beating. And he's doing cupping. Thank you. He's taking, our schedule on. He's taking AEWs. He's going to Mexico. So he's probably the most traveling wrestler right now in the world. Consistently traveling. The dude needs a break. He deserves a break. And if that's the case, I hope he heals up and eventually comes back as well. But, I'm glad they came. Omega came. I have no gripes about his run whatsoever. It made us feel important. It made the belt feel important. It was, no matter what people will say about his run here, the first match in Rampage history will be Kenny Omega as champion defending his Impact World Championship against Christian Cage, and the crowd going nuts. So that moment alone was worth it.
That reaction was the biggest surprise for me. I didn't expect that type of reaction, but I mean, if Kenny, obviously, I've said my piece on him a few times, but this past week, or the past few weeks really, as a wrestler, Kenny Omega is great. He's not the best in my opinion. He's great, but he's not the best. But as a heel champion and this arrogant, just cocky, funny, he's incredible. The guy blows me away with how good he is at making you believe what he's doing.
Right.
And but as far as it goes with whether we see him again, I think so. I don't think Kenny isn't, from what I can see, he isn't one of these who will. I don't think he's doing it as a favour, as people suggested, because Don Callis is no longer EVP, but yet he's still there. Right. He doesn't. He's doing it because, like you said, he loves wrestling and he wants to just do whatever he can as a wrestler. And the fact he was a three-time world champion at the same time for 3 different promotions is phenomenal. Yeah, if he loses the Mega Championship tonight at Triple Mania, then maybe they are veering off to him taking some time off, which, like I said, he deserves. If he needs it, he needs it. You can't expect someone to keep fighting through injury like this, because it can only get worse.
8 months. 8 months he's been in Impact. That's insane. From 1 day to 8 months. I mean, no matter what way you chalk it up, you got to give him respect. You got to thank him. And if that's the case where he does take off time or is just going to focus on AEW so the schedule's not as rough for him, now that more places are traveling and so on, good for him. But who knows? Maybe he sticks with the plan is to him to lose tonight, and then he does retain at All Out. Maybe that's the story. In the world, the Impact title isn't on the line at All Out, but we'll see. So let's get to number 5 here, last but not least. The taping rumors. Ooh.
Yeah, so see, this morning it came about that the Iconics, or the IInspiration, each posted pictures from an event in Nashville, I'm guessing, and so they were currently in Nashville. That led to most of the Impact Nation on Twitter exploding. And of course, there's rumors of John Skyler reportedly signed for Impact with him. It's based on him promoting these upcoming set of tapings, which I'm guessing he probably is on them. And of course, Melina is going to be wrestling in the Impact Zone.
Yeah, man. If people don't recognize Impact as the forbidden door, all the other guys can step up, but we can say that we've literally had a competitor who was on ROH before us and still is working with them. We've had NWA signed talent. We've had AEW signed talent. The times are interesting. Yeah, we had Jay White. So there's so much. Let's go. Oh, jeez. There's just so much great shit going on in Impact right now, and it's hard to just stick to one topic. But let's start with the IInspiration. Okay, it said the rumor started because, one, we've been saying for a while that we thought they were a perfect fit. They obviously were winked at during the Slammiversary package. We keep alluding to the fact that Tenille's storyline's a little wonky. I said the tone at the show was that they weren't around or planned on coming when I was at the tapings. It didn't feel like that, and obviously they weren't. But here we are with the next tapings. And they're at some concert festival in Nashville, and everyone's like, well, maybe they're just there for the music. I don't know how 2 Australian chicks get down in the States, but it's possible.
Just correct me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. Orlando to Nashville is quite a journey, right?
It's a bit, yeah.
Yeah, for a concert, I'm not entirely sure. That's a long way to go.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, I like that. Impact is the room behind each forbidden door. That's awesome. Yeah, I just think they make too much sense on Impact. And the fact that if they are, don't want to jinx it, if they do come, we have a few friends there. I don't want any spoilers, John, a bunch of you guys that we talked to, Cole, but we won't give any spoilers. We don't want any spoilers. But if they show up, no. If they show up, it's just one home run after another. Now, John Skyler, like I said, I didn't know much about. I think he would be a great addition to Brian Myers' group. I think it would be funny that the guy who beat Cardona gets offered a gig being with Beal, because, hey, that pose, there's just too many. It fits for someone to be next to Beal. So I could really see that. Melina being in action is just, to go back to that, is just insane. Who would have thunk, that Melina would be wrestling in Impact in 2021? But anything can happen, and that's where we're at. So I'm really happy about that. I'm going to try to wrap that up. I know there's obviously a lot we could talk about, but we got this silly little into the future thing we're going to do, and I want to let you get your point in as well.
Basically, my thing is, if the IInspiration Iconics show up, they'll hear my pop in Nashville.
From Worcester.
Yeah, they'll hear it all the way in Nashville. No, they'll hear it in Australia.
It is fitting, though, that we have Australia now on board. If it's you listening, or Buddy Murphy, but I think he's headed towards AEW. That package was too much like Malachi Black's there, but yeah, Impact is dead, right? Yeah, no. The Renaissance is continuing for Impact. Craig, if you have nothing to add on that, let's just and then we can banter if we run short on the other end. But you want to go right into our commercial and then into our game or into our segment?
Yeah, let's kick it.
All right, guys. This is our friend from the Apron Bump. We're trying to partner with as many people that we can, just to give good rubs to good rubs. Give a rub to the good people that we meet along the way. We've been invited now multiple times onto their show. We've done it once, and we'll be doing Unbreakable 5, I believe, rather soon with them. But great show. They cover everything, as he will say in this 1-minute clip. Listen to that, and we'll be right back with looking into the future. Bye, guys.
What's up, everybody? I am the hardest part of the ring, the host of the Apron Bump podcast. Ugh, another wrestling podcast. How many times can I listen to fans tell me who needs a push, who doesn't need a push, who brings Vince's coffee these days? Enough! The Apron Bump is about the journey. It's about nostalgia. It's about discovering new forms of wrestling to really tickle your pickle as a wrestling fan. The podcast brings you reviews of wrestling events all over the world, whether it's WWF, WWE, WCW, ECW. We even cover the golden eras of Ring of Honor, Progress, TNA, and more promotions in the future as well. New episodes every Wednesday. Bump Day, yeah? Go to apronbump.com or go to your favorite podcast platform or YouTube and subscribe today for the most diverse, fan-friendly wrestling podcast in the world. I'm Hard.
Ooh, we're back. Ooh. All right, guys. Yeah. So, what is your Craig? Craigaside, and Third Eyed. I'm blind. Jeff is here. So before we've done a thing where I used my psychic abilities to predict things that were gonna be in the question or whatever. Go back and watch it. But it wasn't that great. But today, Craig and I, in honor of Conan O'Brien's show ending, are going to look into the future together. We are going to look into the year 2031. And for those who aren't familiar with the segment from back in the day, I try to explain to Craig off air. But there was a segment when he used to host the Late Late Show, or whatever the hell it was called. And it was called In the Year 2000. And it would black out, and there would be neon lights, and they'd make believe they were looking into the future in the year 2000, even though it was 98, 99, 2000, 2001, or whatever they were doing it. So here's an example of how we're going to do it, and then we'll get right into it. I'll read the first one just as an example, and then Craig is going to read his. We only have 7, so we're going to take our time. And Conan is ending? Yeah, Conan ended. Conan ended like a week ago, brother, or 2 weeks ago. He's going to switch to, I think, podcast 4. All right. So here's the first one. Simple, corny, but that's what the show is. And full of nonsense. That's what the show's about. All right. In the year 2031. In the year 2031, a Netflix documentary will investigate and reveal who kidnapped Samoa Joe. Spoiler. It was Claire Lynch. In the year 2031. Craig side, look into the future, my friend.
Okay. In the year 2031, decay will finally bite someone's face off. Thankfully, no permanent damage was done, as it was Don Callis and he had a spare one.
Two faces, that Don Callis. Two faces. This is going to be the worst segment.
I can just imagine the comment. I can imagine the group chat later.
They're hopefully all at Resurgence and not watching. We gotta edit this out. Oh, shit. Okay. All right, another one. Here we go. In the year 2031, Triple XL will be arrested for robbing the Impact merchandise stand. When asked why, Larry D said, "We just wanted a couple of pins." Oh, it's so bad. Oh, God. This is great. Just so you know out there, listeners and obviously viewers, you get a little more insight into that this is obviously dumb and fun for us to fill time. But for those listening and sticking to it, thank you. They only get worse from here. Right?
I just want to make clear I had nothing to do with the segment.
He wrote all of these. Oh, God.
Okay. Time to get one more time.
Bad. Okay. Dude, my glasses are dirty.
In the year 2031, AJ Styles will finally return to the house that he built at the age of 54. His first match back will be against Rohit Raju, who would have just turned 25.
Never ages, that Rohit. Never ages. Somewhere Max is rolling in his grave right now. Oh, no. Oh, no, that's not fair. We let you guys ridicule these segments, but how dare you? Worse than NWA 73. How dare you? All right. This is one of my favorites. This is for you, Craig. Oh, wait, it's a prediction. Sorry. In the year 2031, Impact will finally have a consistent mid-card title. It'll have rubies on the faceplate, diamonds on the side plate, and Matt Cardona on the nameplate.
You know what? I'll take it.
Oh, I love Matt. I do. I love Matt. But I can't tell.
Yeah, if it makes me champion in Impact, I'll take it.
Yeah, the future mid-card champion. Yeah. Oh, God.
Okay.
Stupid.
I can feel one more coming through.
Oh, okay.
Let's see what happens.
Hopefully it's good.
Suicide will unmask to reveal himself as Caleb with a K. Caleb with a K will then unmask to reveal Mortimer Plumtree.
For our old timers out there. Man, it doesn't get much worse than this. All right, so I only have one more. That's the good part. How we fill the other 25 minutes, I really didn't think that through. I figured we'd have a lot to talk about, but I kept us on time. So, I'll how about we'll say this last one that I have, and then we'll banter about whatever you guys got in the chat that you want to talk about. All right, last one. In the year 2031, the police will debut a new breathalyzer that can tell how much cocaine is in someone's system. It can read anywhere from 0 to Jericho on commentary.
Even I knew that was coming.
Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Woo! All right. Well, that one was good. That one was fun. Ended off on a fun note, right? Nothing like a little illicit drug talk. Damn, I love that the chat is picking this up and doing their own. Come on, we'll print a whole book of these dumb, horrible ones. Here's here's one that didn't make the cut. That's how bad this is. Okay. In 2031, Moose will finally become Impact World Champion. When asked what took so long, he replied, "It wasn't the right time yet." So bad. Man, the treehouse. Listen, okay, first of all, the reason that I thought it was smart at the time was it wasn't the right time yet is the excuse of a lot of people for him not winning, including myself. But then I realized, and why I crossed it off, is because maybe one person would get that joke. It's this guy. Myself. So that one didn't make the cut. Now here is one I did start that I couldn't finish, and I need your guys' help on, actually. Be patient with me reading it through. So this was going to be something about, as you're going to want to place someone who has done something illegal or you don't like very much, something along those lines in the place. But it goes, the Impact faithful will finally get what they've been begging for when guilty blares across the sound system. They will be highly disappointed when they realize it's just... what?
I see. Someone came to my head straight away, but I think it's best to ignore that one.
Say it. It's nonsense. Was it Joey Ryan?
Yeah, but I also just thought of Enzo as well.
Oh, man. Oh, and Patron and Aries. Oh, good lord. Oh, okay, yep. Patron would have been a good one. It would have been a good one. The only other one I had was about, which someone actually mentioned in the group chat, which was awesome. I don't know who it was. Okay.
Oof.
Ignoring that. Jesus Christ, you guys are ruthless. Let's see, where was it? It was something about us needing the name or the theme song "We Own the Night," so AEW knew not to took Thursday night to put a show on Thursdays or something like that. And the last one was not even a joke at all. It was just I was gonna pop up, and I love you, Trey, but I say in 2031, Trey Miguel will finally get a new ImpactWrestling.com photo. That was the joke, and then I was gonna put up the image. Man, someone on there does not like Trey, man. Dude's got a new tattoo and a different hair color, and you guys still giving him that bird chest picture.
It's just someone airbrushed out the crutches.
Oh shit! Yeah, is that what... I just thought you were serious. It's like, oh yeah, he was injured. You're right. So stupid. Oh man, that's good stuff. All right, so what do we got, guys? We're more than happy to, obviously take your questions or talk about anything. I know there's stuff we could go back and chat about, or stuff that popped up. Obviously, Resurgence is tonight, or would have aired by tomorrow. For those that are watching this on YouTube, you should do these predictions every now and again. Yeah, sounds good. We can announce that there is going to be something along the lines where it comes to you guys helping us or playing along. We've thought about and played around the idea of making our own family game night, because instead of having our show, which is the Hard 10, we'll just have like a game night where we can create different things. One of them may be the prototype for the Impact World or Impact Wrestling Championship game or whatever the hell it's called. And then Craig's coming up with a few other great ideas, including different versions of Cards Against Humanity, kind of similar to this, but for all of us to play, or a match game from the States, if you guys are familiar. So we're going to have a bunch of that kind of stuff, which will be really cool, and we'll be there'll be one host or two, depending on who it is, and then we'll try to fit 3 or 4 friends from online on there. So look out for that, guys. And then I guess we can finally announce that State of Impact will be making its debut tomorrow. Tuesday, right? Tuesday, is that when we said? Tuesday.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
All right, Tuesday.
Yeah.
So you get your news with us. There'll be short segments. Oh, that's what I was saying. Sorry. Short segments, just kind of a recap of power rankings and different things, as well as news. No opinions, just straight news and rumors. Us delivering, Craig and I, being the correspondents there every Tuesday. As I said, we're going to do TNAIW game night at some point, and rather soon. And then tell us what you think about maybe keeping us at an hour and using that extra 30 minutes for the game night, so we can kind of have two different shows a week, where one's a little more fun, one's more about wrestling, but nonsense mixed in. Let us know your opinions. We will base this off your guys' likes and views and wants, but they're still going up, and we really appreciate that. But yeah, let's go there. Let's talk about that bus. We need to raise some money, man. We have some cool things coming. I will say that. Craig and I are working on some new things that will hopefully bring us into phase 3.
Some fun stuff. I was thinking earlier, we talked about how Impact has basically been the forbidden door for years.
Yeah.
Right? And we're thinking, I've been thinking about it for a while, of how many different champions from different promotions have featured on Impact. We've had the IWGP Tag Team Championships. We've had the Dragon Gate Tag Team Championships. We've had obviously the current Never Openweight Champion.
Yeah.
All the promotions Austin Aries had the belt for. There's been a lot of other promotions champions on Impact.
Yeah.
For years.
Kurt Angle.
Fun. Yeah. No, Nakamura.
Yeah. What was Nakamura at the time?
He was the IWGP third champion. IWGP Heavyweight third champion. Because Angle beat Lesnar.
Yep.
Angle beat Lesnar. But Lesnar didn't drop it, or
I don't remember. There was like one of their two. No, maybe that was a different time. But yeah, no, we've had quite a few. Nothing from ROH to my. Or wait, when the Hardys did their thing, what belts were they holding when they finally exited Impact? Or had they?
I mean, they had. I think they left Impact, went to Ring of Honor, won those tag titles, and then went to WrestleMania.
Okay, so yeah, Monster Factory, The Crash. Yeah, we've had some. I'm sure AAA at some point had its belts there.
Yeah, the Latin America Championship with Vikingo.
Nice, very nice. Who may or may not be returning very soon. I hope so too. Him and Laredo Kid, man. Can't wait. Yeah, no, I mean that's a great point to that. To answer a question in there, I see. GHC. Yeah. I see the question about the September tapings. It's my hope. I'll just it'll be my birthday the first week of September, as well as Kristen's the last week of August. So we'll figure it out. But I'm really trying to get there to the September tapings. I would love it. It was a great experience. I don't know if we'll rent a bus, but one day that is the goal, to have the TNAIW bus. And for those who are new to our group here, or thank you for listening, obviously, but also or watching. But our goal is to eventually have a school bus that we. That's right. A school bus that we turn into the TNAIW bus, and it's just literally goes all around the coast depending on where the show is and picks up people. We'll set up your travel packages for you, hotels as well, and then give you a price, and you just have a good time and watch wrestling on the bus, get there, have a good time with friends, make it cheap as possible, some camaraderie. What we really noticed, especially after 2 years of not being able to go to a show, it's just that camaraderie of speaking to other friends face to face about wrestling is just it's something to not what's that called, take lightly or take for granted.
Yeah, I've been to one show since COVID, or after pre-COVID. Last month I went to a show, right. And it just being amongst wrestling fans, all there for the same reason. You want to enjoy some wrestling.
Yeah.
That's an amazing feeling.
Bro, I as soon as I got back, so obviously I always mentioned it at the beginning of the show in the first segment, I mentioned it about the mental health. I'm very wishy-washy depending on the energy around me. Obviously, I harp on positivity, or at least how we deliver messages in a kind way. Just because I really feel that affects everyone's day-to-day. And if we can affect someone's day-to-day in a positive way, who knows what that does outside of wrestling. So, point being, though, when you go to the show, obviously I'm missing my family, which, it's the first time being away. But, oh, yeah, right. Next time, hopefully September, my friend. We'll go visit the treehouse, and I'll talk your ear off about shows that will never happen. I have a knack for doing that. And life philosophies. But
that sounds like a show.
Oh, it was something. It was a great time. But and Bert, yes, there will be snacks. Obviously, I'll have gluten-free ones, and that tastes like cardboard for me and people who are watching what they eat. And then I'll have great shit for you guys all to eat while you're in the treehouse as well. Yeah. So I don't even know where we're at anymore. But yeah, no. It's just the energy of being there and then going back to civilian life and not, you're like, wow, where do you get that energy from? And you hear the wrestlers talk about it. Obviously, we're not going through the curtain. We're not getting the applause. Excuse me. But being part of it or being present for someone else getting that, still it's just, there's nothing else like it. Nothing else like it.
I mean, so again, I don't really talk about it, but yeah, my mental health is up, down, up, down, up, down. It's never the same one day from the next. But at a wrestling show, knowing that there are people there doing the same things as you, but they're there for the same reason as you, just that feeling of just, you don't know them, but you feel like you do because you have a lot of things in common.
Yeah.
And it's amazing feeling.
Especially when it comes to, and you wouldn't expect it from everyone. And of course, there's different wrestling fans all over the world that look and sound and act differently. But there's something that, look, wrestling hasn't been mainstream since probably, 99, we'll be fair and say. Maybe that's fair. So in the new millennium, it hasn't been mainstream or widely acceptable. I think there's a lot of things that happened that really kind of kicked wrestling in the nuts, and obviously WCW going away didn't help the cause, and before that kind of dipping on its own quality. It hasn't been that way in over 20 years. So when you're a fan like you are, or I am, or whoever else is out there, you generally have the same mindset or have dealt with the same shit, which is getting scoffed at or wrestling, that fake thing. Well, no shit, yes. But now we're getting to a new generation finally, where we can go out, and one, we have a lot in common with the people in our own like-mindedness, but we're going to have a whole new crop of people who come into wrestling that are excited about it and don't care what other people think, because that's what they're being grown up in right now. So we're in for a renaissance of it. I really firmly believe that. And as much shit as we joke about Tony Khan or we give Tony Khan or whatever, you have to admit, and his last interview sealed it for me, where he said, I want to do AEW for whatever reason, but I wanted to bring people back to wrestling. And when people say, well, what is AEW getting out of this? We can argue all day what AEW and Impact is getting out of this financially, fiscally, whatever way you want to look at it. But what it's doing is putting asses in the seats and putting people in front of the TVs, or at least in front of the iPad, or whatever the hell it is. It's going to catch on. This synergy is going to catch on. There's an energy where in the rest of the world where people can't agree on anything, red, blue, up, down, left, right, wrestling fans love wrestling. They might not always agree on wrestling. They might not always like other wrestling fans when it comes to what promotion they like, but they get each other for the most part. And to finally be accepted by the grand masses will be on the next step in this evolution. So, and he's part of that. But we're getting,
Yeah, I mean, Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, we talked about the reaction when Christian won the Impact World title 3, 4 years ago. That would be unthinkable.
Oh yeah.
In fact, that reaction for the Impact. I mean, if you go back to the first Impact versus Lucha Underground show, Impact were the heels on that show.
Yeah.
Just the mention of Impact, everyone was booing. So from that to people cheering for a new Impact World Champion, it may be like cheering for Christian winning the world title, but it's still going Christian on Impact, and the reaction online has been insane for the most part.
Well, that's the one thing that I didn't mention. I want to thank you for kind of circling back around with that. If this was Moose, you could say, and I've argued with people, or went back and forth with people, I'll say that. You could like Moose. You could say you don't like Moose. You could find things you don't like about the person that is playing Moose. Okay. Sami Callihan, same thing. Eddie Edwards, even, same thing. You could always find something that you don't like about their character, or in real life, or in fantasy world. There's always something. I don't like his style. Who the hell is going to give Christian shit? Not nobody. and if you want to pick someone who's neutral that's going to get a pop for beating Kenny Omega on an AEW show, I mean, this side of AJ Styles, like I said, or maybe Daniels or someone of that nature, but this was the right call. He looks great with it. It feels like that, even though I would prefer the Moose and all that stuff that we talked about, this was the, if not next best option, the best option right for this moment. Because now it's bringing people together who were ex-TNA fans, ex-Impact fans, and bringing them back around. Or at least AEW fans are now saying, oh, this is kind of cool. Oh, yeah, they cheer for... So there's things like that. But we have to also mention... Oh, sorry, I get caught up reading in there. I guess not freedom. The excitement for Christian being there is great. The roster loves Christian. Yeah, the roster does love Christian as well. So that makes it for a good point. But there's something else I was gonna say. Craig, take it over for a second, so I don't just chatter, because there was a point I had.
Yeah, I mean, it's phenomenal, because Christian. I think it was Bert who said in the chat, to a lesser degree, Christian was just as much TNA as he was WWE, and that's a great point. And you think of people like crossing the line, properly crossing the line. Christian was the first, and without Christian, maybe they wouldn't have. Maybe Kurt Angle wouldn't have seen the lore of TNA. Maybe whoever else came after that, Jeff Hardy in 2010. If without that, who knows where we'd be?
Yeah. No, you're right. And so I remembered it. If I just looked at my notes, I would remember it. So I was saying that it's bringing back all fans, but we have to remember the hidden ingredient in this equation that I've been talking about maybe last week or 2 weeks now. I don't know how long it's been. The rumors and news of what supposedly is going to happen with NXT. No one over 30. No one that's small. Okay? That drastically changes the look and premise of NXT. Do those fans who really were fans of TNA 2.0, essentially, Jeremy Borash included, are they going to be fans of WWE? Or are they going to be looking for a new home? Have they been fighting with AEW people for way too long that maybe they can't slip back into liking AEW? Maybe they go to ROH. I'm sure there were some from there. But there has to be, at the same time, those fans that I know exist that jump to NXT from TNA that are going to come back home. And who's our champion? But right. Christian Cage.
Exactly. And if you look at NXT right now, you look at their champions. You got Cross as the NXT champion, former Impact star. People knew who he was when he debuted. MSK, the Rascals. Yeah. People knew who they were. You've got LA Knight, Eli Drake as the $1 Million champion. Again, people knew who he was before oh, maybe during his small run in WWE,
Yeah.
if you can even call it that. Again, Cameron Grimes, Trevor Lee, all these former Impact stars, and people say, "Oh, I don't watch TNA. I never watch TNA. TNA is rubbish."
Yeah.
You know who they
Yeah.
are.
They didn't make stars. Well, you sure as hell cheering them. It's just weird. Yeah, we do have 5 minutes left, and I see Lucha making a great point. Emergence is Friday. It's not a Saturday. It's a Friday. And it is August 20th. Josh Alexander will be defending against Jake Something. Macklin will get his hands on P.D. Williams or vice versa. Christian Cage will defend against Brian Myers. And is there anything else we know? There's a tag team, right? 3-way. Good Brothers,
Yeah.
Rich and Willie Mack, and VBD, I believe. And then also this Thursday, Catch Impact, you have Gallows versus Doring, which is going to either at least be fun. Locker Room Talk returns with Tennille Dashwood. Very interesting results I think will happen there. Shera versus Cardona, and much more to come that hasn't been filmed, I imagine. And then if you haven't bought tickets yet and you're thinking about doing so, they're still on sale at least Monday and Tuesday when the time of this filming. That they're still on sale. And then look out for the trading cards series number 2 coming out shortly. Yeah, guys, it was a pleasure. This was fun. Thanks for sticking with us and let us talk through it. Obviously, it's the first time in a very long time that Craig and I have been the only two doing this. It was a good time. Thank you, Australia. Craig, what do you got for us?
I'll obviously do the whole thing. Follow us here, there, and everywhere. And I'll leave you with this little thought I've had since Impact. Okay, it's a little puzzle equation for you, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. Hairspray plus Madison Rain equals BP.
Interesting. You think she's going to start one?
I mean, I think if the iconic inspiration are there, and you add Tennille and Madison as a manager.
Interesting.
Who knows?
Now, we do have to... Would they keep the name? That would be really dope. I imagine maybe they'll be the inspiration. Maybe she'll be the one to hand it over. The reins. Haha, pun intended. Because I think if we weren't mistaken that we were told that Beautiful People with the original 3 will never... It won't happen.
No. It's obviously Velvet's in NWA. We've got that knockoff version of Ring of Honor.
Yeah, but I think they also don't get along with Madison or something like that. Not to spew rumors, but I think that was said in the interview recently. All right, guys. Yeah, either way you look at it, that's a very, very good point that I didn't even remember that there was freaking Hairspray. So keep an eye out. There seems to be a little hints and winks to everything going on in Impact if you just look the right way. Try to look the other way when it comes to spoilers, and we'll be spoiler-free this whole time as well. And should have a couple guests on that were at the tapings, not working them, but attending to get their kind of reaction of what to look for with no spoilers as well. So for Craig and myself, thank you guys. It's been a good night. It's been a fun time, much needed. And hopefully, if anything else, we gave you something to laugh at. For talking nonsense about Impact Wrestling, I'm Jeff. That's Craig.
The MIC.
Yes, the MIC. We'll see you next time, guys. Open your third eyes. Later.